Now, we have seen how to create an object. We have seen how to create an object. If you want to access the object, then we need an interface. So the interface what we are going to use to access the object is tab. So what is a tab? Tab is a interface. Between user and application. When I say application, in the application it may be an object or a Visualforce page, or it may be a Visualforce page, or it can be Lightning application or web tab. So tab is a interface between user and the application. In the application, you may access an object or a Visualforce page or Lightning app or a web tab. Come back to the point here. So look at the structure. We created a couple of objects. So what are the objects we created? Setup, build, create objects. We created a couple of objects. Now, if you want to work with these objects, we need some interfaces. Those interfaces are created using a tab. So how do you create those tabs? Let us look at this. Setup, build, create tabs, new custom object tab. I repeat the navigation. Setup, build, create tabs, new custom object tabs. Choose the object, application. Choose the tab style. When you click on the tab, what should be the color of the tab? Then choose the visibility of the tab. When I said choose the visibility of the tab should be visible to which profile? You can see here visibility is default on, default off, tab hidden. Choose the visibility. When I say default on, all users with this profile, when they log in, they can see the tab on the tab panel. When I say default on, all the users with this profile, when they log in for the first time, all the users with this profile, when they log in, tab will be visible on tab panel. When I say default off, all users with this profile, they can see the tab. All the users with this profile, they can see the tab, but they cannot see the tab on the tab panel. When I say default off, all the users with this profile can access the tab, but the tab is not displayed on the panel. If you want to see the tab, click on the plus sign. From the list of tabs, you can access. When I say default on, all the users with this profile, they can see the tab, and the tab is visible on the tab panel. When I say tab hidden, all the users with this profile, they cannot access this tab. So there are three types of permissions: default on, default off, tab hidden. When you say default on, all users with this profile can access the tab and the tab is visible on the panel. When I say default off, all the users with this profile can see the tab and the tab is not visible on the panel. When I say tab hidden, all the users with this profile cannot access this tab. I hope I'm clear with these three permissions. Scroll down, go to the next step. Now choose list of applications in which tab should be included. I told show this tab only in LIC application. Save it. Now you are able to see application tab in the LIC application. Now go back again, setup, build, create tabs, new tab, choose the object, tab style, next choose the visibility. We told visibility as default on, default off or tab hidden. Then next choose the list of applications in which the tab should be displayed. I told show it in LIC application. Again go back, setup, build, create tabs, new tab, select the object, choose the tab style, next choose the visibility. I told default on, default off, tab hidden. I told default off, next, and make the visibility as. Now go back to this, look at the point. We created a tab called customers but not visible here. So what should I do? Click on the plus sign. When you click on the plus sign, you'll be able to see customers tab. You're able to see the customers tab. Tab is visible here. Tab is visible here. But you cannot see the tab on the panel. Right. So go back to the next one. New, payment, tab style. Then I told for system administrator, make the tab as. So all the users with the system admin profile, they cannot see the tab. We created a tab, added the tab to the application, but you are not able to see the tab. So let us go back to this, see whether I was able to see the payment tab. Look at this. We are not able to see the payment tab because I told tab hidden. When you say tab hidden, the tab will not be visible to the users with the given profile. I hope you are clear with this format. Any queries at this level? Any queries from anyone? No. Once I created a tab, in case if you want to change the permissions, how will you change the permission? So go to the profile, setup, administer, manage users, profiles, system admin profile, choose the administrator. Then we need to change the permissions here. Look at the point. Payment, making as default on, customers, making it as default on. So later on, if you want to change the permissions on the tab, go to the profile of the user, make the changes there. So let us say we have given him for branch manager. Let me go to the profile of branch manager. Edit, give default on, then save it. So this is how we are changing the permissions after creating the tab if required. Right. So let me give the navigation. So what is the navigation for creation? Setup, build, create, setup, build, create, tabs, new custom object tab. So what are the steps involved? Select the object and tab step. Step number 2, choose the profile level visibility. Then add the tab to the application. Add the tab to the application. So these are the steps involved in creation of tab. Now the point is, what are the default permissions that are provided once we add the tab to the application? Once we add tab to the application, what are the default permissions that are provided? If you look at this, look at the point. So here we are finding event, task, account, application, credit card, customer, payment. So why these are displayed here? Because we have added this tab, we have a shortcut menu of create new record. From here directly we can create a record. So create new shortcut is given here. Second, if I create any dummy record, look at the point. Now you are able to find here recent items AD 1001. So whichever the tabs that are added to the application, the recent work that is done on this object will be displayed here. Similarly, we have a global search. Look at the point. We can search for the data available in this object from the global search. So what are the 3 permissions that are enabled? Whenever we add tab to an application, create new shortcut menu, recent items, and a global search. These are the 3 options which are by default enabled. Any queries on this point? Clear? So if you want to access an object, you want to create a record, you want to modify the record, you want to delete the record, then we need a tab. Without tab, you will not be able to create, read, or delete the records in that object. I hope you are clear with these points. Any further queries from your end? Right. So once again, quick conclusion. Tab is a interface between user and application. If user want to work on the object, he need to have tab for the object. We need to have tab for the object, and the user need to have access on the tab. So if the user has an access on the tab, then he will be able to create, edit, delete the records in that object. To do that, we have followed the navigation of setup, build, create, tabs, and a new custom object tab. This is how we created the tabs. Now, apart from the custom object tab, there are three more types of tabs. So let us see those. Setup, build, create, tabs. Now the other three types of tab. Web tab. When you click on this tab, corresponding web page will be open. If you want the corresponding web page, we have to build it using development. Visualforce tab. When you click on this tab, corresponding Visualforce page will be open. Again, we are going to see this in the development. Last, Lightning Page tab. Lightning Page tab. When you click on this tab, corresponding Lightning application is going to be open. So again, this is also development. So these three activities will be performed in the development. When you click on Web tab, corresponding web page will be open. When you click on this tab, new Visualforce page will be open. When you click on this tab, Lightning application page is going to be open. So these are the three concepts which we are going to learn in the development. Right. So that's all concept regarding the tabs. Now we have created an object. We created a table and created a button to access that table. We created a table and we also created a button to access that table. Now, in the table, we need to create the fields. In the table, we need to create the fields. When you want to create the fields in the table, we need to know what format of data is going to be accepted by the field. So first, we need to understand what are the custom data types we have, or what are the data types we have in the Salesforce. When you want to create the fields, first we need to understand what are the data types we have in the Salesforce. So let us start with understanding data types in the Salesforce. Any further queries from your end? We just covered the topic of creation of table. In the table, we created a tab. Now, in the table, we are trying to create the fields. When you want to create the fields in the table, we need to understand what are the different types of data types available in the Salesforce. Any further queries from anyone? Any queries from anyone? Okay. So let me start with the first one. We are trying to take data type of text. When you say data type as a text, format of the data. What format of data it is going to accept? Alphanumeric. It is going to accept alphanumeric data. What is the maximum length we can create? 255 characters. Then the complete data should be in a single line or multiple lines. Should be in a single line. So when I say text, it is going to accept alphanumeric data. Length of the data is 255 characters at max. Data should be in a single line. Now let me demonstrate this. Now in application object, I want to create customer last name and first name. So how do you create? Setup, build, create, object, application object, then scroll down. You are finding custom fields and relations, new, then we are going to understand the first data type. What is the data type? Text. Next, enter the field details. First name, length. I told maximum is 255. So let us see. Max length is 255 characters. The max length is 255. So it's showing an error because I gave 256. Then simply give next. Give next. See. So I created one custom field, first name. Let me create one more field. So what is the navigation? Setup, build, create, object, application, in which we had custom fields and relations, new, then choosing the data type, text, next, enter the data, last name, I give the length, I may make it as required, next, save. This is how I created a custom field whose data type is text. When I said data type is text, it is going to accept alphanumeric data with a maximum length of 255 characters, and data should be in a single line. Now we are taking the second one, text area. When I say text area, format of the data is alphanumeric, max length is 255 characters, single line or multiple line, so the same like text only, but only the difference is I can split the data into multiple lines. Like when I want to create address, I'll go with the text area. Text area and text both are same, but only the difference is text area we can split the data into multiple lines. Maximum length is 255 characters only, but we can split the data into multiple lines. Right. Let me go back to this. I'm trying to create the field, same, custom fields and relations, new field. I'm trying to create text area, next, address, next, so when you say text area, we can enter the data in multiple lines. Entering the data in multiple lines. So that is the purpose of text area. Let me take the third one, text area long. When I say text area long, the format of the data is alphanumeric only. Format of the data alphanumeric, max length or default length, let's say 32,768 characters, default length 32,768, max length 1,31,072 characters, single line or multiple lines, should be in multiple lines. Right. So text area long, text area long is going to take longer than 255 characters. Any data that requires Any information you want to store more than 255 characters, we go for text area long. Like we have description, remarks, where we take more than 255 characters. Go back to this, create the field, custom fields and relations. Text area long. Just give me 1 second. Right. Right. So we are taking text area, description. I told default length is 32,768. Number of lines that are visible, I said 5. Go with the next. Save. No. So we are going to take log larger than 255 characters. So this is how we take text area long. Both are same, text area long. Only the difference is it is going to accept the length up to 1,31,072 characters, longer than text area. Text area rich. When you say text area rich, when you want to format the data. So let us say, let us take this data. Any data we want to format. So we are trying to take the formatted data. So we call this as formatted data. Right? This is called formatted data. If you want to store any formatted data, then we go with text area rich. The length of the field, the maximum length of the field is 1,31,072 characters. Minimum, it should be 10 lines. Minimum 10 lines. Basically, if you want to load any formatted data or images, we go with the text area rich. Then go to this custom object, new fields, text area rich. Then I'm taking here profile. Minimum should be 10 lines. Save it. So when you go with this, so we have inserting the image, formatting the data, we can do it. So this is text area rich. Then I'm going with the next field. I'm trying to create a next data type which is called text encrypted. When you say text encrypted, come back to the next field. we are going with text encrypted. When I say text encrypted, any data which you are storing, if you want to encrypt the data and store them, we go with text encrypted. Like we got ATM pin. When you are saving the data should be encrypted and saved to the database. We don't want to show the data to anyone. We want the data to be displayed in the encrypted format. When you enter the data, it should be visible to you. But once the data is saved, the data should be in encrypted format. Once the data is saved, it should be in encrypted format. So then we call as text encrypted. First, let me demonstrate the example. Then we'll discuss what it is. I'm going with creation of text encrypted fields. Like I'm going with PAN card number. PAN code. I'm giving the length as 10 characters. Then look at the point. What type of masking you require? We require the masking with X. What type of masking? Mask all the characters. Leave last 4 characters as blank. Credit card number format. Tell me what is the format of your masking. I told use the credit card format. Next. Next. Then when you go to the application, new, when I save the data, you can see here the data is in the form of encrypted. The data is in encrypted format. So once you save the data is encrypted and saved. Nobody can see this data in original format. So the data is not visible to anyone in the original format. Now who can see this data in original format? By default, no one can access the data in original format. No one can access the data in original format, including administrator. Let us say I'm logging as Wilson. We created one more user like Wilson. Let me log in as Wilson and see whether Wilson is able to see the data in original format. So when I log into my application, I'm logging as Wilson. When I log in as Wilson, let us see whether Wilson was able to see the data in original format. So application, open the record what I created. So what happened here? He is also not able to see the data in original format. I told you, if you choose the data type as text encrypted, no one in the organization will be able to see the data in original format. If you want to show the data in the original format, then go to the profile of user. Go to the profile of user. Go to the profile of user. Then grant the permission of view encrypted data. So go to the profile. In the profile, we are giving the permission view encrypted data. If this permission is enabled, then all users with this profile, all the users with the profile of branch manager, they can access the data in original format. Look at this. All users with this profile, they can access the data in the original format. So let me give the points here. When you say text encrypted fields, when you say text encrypted fields, the data will be encrypted and saved to the database. Data in this field will be encrypted and saved to the database. Second one, max length of this field 175 characters. So who can see? Note, by default no user in the organization can access this object, this field in original format. Then what is this? View encrypted data. If this permission is enabled, in the profile, all the users with this profile can access the data in this field in the original format. All the users in the organization, all the users who have this profile, they can access the data in the field in original format. Now, more than all, important point is we cannot use this fields in filter condition or search criteria. We cannot search based on this field, or we cannot write any conditions based on this field. Next, we cannot use these fields in formulas. We can use this field in search results. When you are searching based on any other field, in the result I can show this field. Report results also I can show validation. This is Admin 201 certification question. In which criteria, in which cases we can use text encrypted fields? Text encrypted fields can be used in search result, report results and validation. Cannot be used in filter conditions, search criteria or formulas. So when you want to save any sensitive data in the Salesforce, we save them as text encrypted so that no user in the organization can access the data in original format unless or until he has view encrypted data permission enabled. Any further queries from your end? No. You cannot give it. You cannot give it to a single user. It should be given to a profile. Any other queries to anyone? Any other queries from anyone? Any other queries from anyone? Yes, Akshay.
Hi, Dish.
Yes.
Like who can actually change the permission here?
No. If you
like you said, like if the view encrypted data is enabled, then the user can access the field.
Yes.
Right. So who actually can change that view encrypted data? Who can enable it actually?
According to your, yes. Yeah. According to your organization business flow, we will design a profile who has a permission to modify the permissions in the profile. Users who have the permission to modify the administrative level permissions. Now, which permission I modified here? Look at the point. I have manage profiles and permission set. If your profile has manage profiles and permission set permission enabled, Those user, it can be any user who has this permission enabled, they're allowed to customize it. Am I clear with this? It can be you or it can be me, it can be administrator or it can be Ravi. So whoever has this permission enabled, they are authorized to modify the permissions of the profile.
Okay.
It's not based on like, it's not like administrator or it's not like manager or somebody like that. Whose profile has this permission enabled, those profiles are authorized to change the permissions in the profile.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
Any other queries from anyone? So this is how we created 5 text fields. So we have started with text, text area long, text area rich, and text encrypted. Apart from these, we have the basic fields. Let me go with the basic fields. So once again, I'll quickly go with the navigation. Setup, build, create, objects, choose the object. Then we have custom fields and relation. New custom field and relation. Now we are able to see here. First one, checkbox. If you want to store true or false, we go with checkbox. Active. Checkbox. When you want to store the true or false value, we go with checkboxes. Next. Now we are trying to see the options of checkbox. New. Then I'm trying to create the next field. New custom field. Currency. Any currency values that you want to save in the Salesforce, like salary, amount, price, all the currency values, they're going to be currency. Now why specific data type? Tomorrow if we change the currency format, all the fields where I am storing the currency should be automatically changed. Right now I have my organization corporate currency as INR. Tomorrow if I am changing to dollar, all the fields has to be changed to dollar. So that's the reason they gave a separate data type called currency. Now let us say I have taken some field called salary. Now the point is the maximum length of the currency field is 18 characters. When I say maximum length, look at the format. The salary value may have numerical value and decimal value. This is the salary what I have. The length of integer part is 5. Length of decimal part is 2. Both together 7. The length of integer and decimal together maximum it can be 18 characters. The length of integer and length of decimal both together it can be maximum 18 characters. Length of the integer and the length of the decimal both together maximum it can be 18 characters. So thank you. I told 5 characters, 2 characters. Maximum it can be 18. I took only 7. Then go to next. Next. Save it. Currency field. If I say currency, let me give it. I'm giving here active. Save it. I gave length as 7 characters. Decimal and integer together. So we are getting here rupees 90,000. Rupees as a currency. Then let me go to the next field here. Now we are taking the next field, date. It is used to store any particular day in the calendar. Now there is a clause here. Let me show you. I am taking the date, apply date. When you are going with a field called date, look at the format. Now when you say calendar, it gives you only 2015 and below. If you want to take anything below that, directly you have to give the date. It is giving you only 2015 and below. Next, after 2015. Now, if you want to give any other date prior to this, you can manually give it. You have to manually enter it. From the calendar, if you want to choose, they're only giving from previous year. Anything prior to that, if you want to give, you have to manually give it. And the date here in the Salesforce is going to be in the form of month, day, year. It is going to be in the form of month, day, year. Oops, I think I changed my format. So the internal format of the date is going to be month, day, year. You look at this point here, 11/7/2016. 11/7/2016. Month, day, year. Month, day, year. Fine. Let me go with the next one. If you want to take date along with the time, now I have taken only date. If you want to take date along with the time, go with the format date and time. So it is used to store date along with the time. It is going to take date along with the time. So date, date and time. Date, date and time. So go with the format date along with the time. So we are going to get date along with the time. You can see here, along with the time we are getting here. Then the next format of the data. What is the next format of the data? We have email. If you want to store the email address, we use email. Email is for storing the email address. Then if you want to store the longitude and latitude, then we are going to take geolocation. These fields are used to store longitude and latitude values, number. If you want to store any numerical value or currency value, numerical value or decimal value, we use a number. Percent. When I say percent, email is for email ID, geolocation for longitude and latitude, number, any numerical value. When I say percent, it is going to embed percentage symbol. It is going to embed percentage symbol after the data. So let me give you this. I give rate as 5. Save the record. You can see here we are getting 5%. It is going to embed percentage symbol after the data. Percent. It is going to embed percentage symbol after the data. So go to the next. We are able to see here. So once again I am repeating the fields here. Checkbox, currency, date, date and time, email, geolocation, number, percent. If you want to store any phone number, we take the data type as phone. If you want to store any phone numbers, we take the data type as phone. Phone numbers will have the data type as phone. Phone numbers will have the data type as phone. Right. So let me go with the next format here. What is that? Pick list. Then what is this pick list? Any drop down list what we create in the Salesforce is called pick list. If you want to create any drop down list, we call it as pick list. Let us say city. When I said city, then we have right. So when I click on this arrow mark, we get a drop down list with the corresponding options. Let us say I have options like Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai. Now, how many options we give? We give 3 options. Maximum how many options you can give? 1000 options. Maximum we can give 1000 options. What is the length of each option? Here in this case, length of the option is 3 characters. What is the length of the option we give? Length of the option is 3 characters. What is the maximum length of the option? What is the maximum length of the option? Maximum length is 255 characters. Maximum we can give 1000 options. Maximum length of each option is 255 characters. All the options together we have 9 characters. All the options together we have length of 15,000 characters at max. Are clear? So how many options are there? Pick list is nothing but drop down list. Maximum we can create 1000 options. Length of each option can be 255 characters. All the options together it can be 15,000 characters. Now when you are looking at the options, options are not sorted alphabetically. If you want, you can sort the options alphabetically. We have a choice called sort the options alphabetically. When you choose that, options in the pick list are sorted alphabetically. Right. So let me create and show you. I am choosing the data type as pick list. When you choose the data type as pick list, next. So here we have city. Enter the values. Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai. We have entered the options here. I told sort the values alphabetically. When you said sort the values alphabetically, next. Save it. Go back to the record. Cross check the record. Now we are getting the options here. City, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. Options are alphabetically sorted. Now, right now, which field you are getting as a default field? Which option you are getting as a default option? None option we are taking as a default option. None option we are taking as a default option. None option we are taking as a default option. We want to take the first option as default option. I don't want to take none. I want to take the first option as default option. Open the city. Edit. Sorry. Open the field. You are able to see what are the options we have. Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. You want to reorder? You can reorder. You want to take any other option, any other field as a default option? Let us say I want to take Chennai as a default option. Right. Then go to the option, cross check this. We're getting option as Chennai as default option. Are you clear about this? Are you clear about this? Any queries? Any queries? Yeah. When you say mandatory, only the point is make the first option as a default option. Yeah, with that we can do it. But when you make that option as a default option, we can disable the option. So what we are finding here? Deactivate. But none we cannot make it because there's a possibility of choosing the none option. So in this context, you cannot make it as none. You can write a validation if you want. You can write a validation if you want. Right. Now let me give you one more time. I'm creating the pick list field. Setup. Build. Create. Then I'm getting objects. Choose the application. New. I'm choosing the pick list field. Then create application type. Application type. Enter the values. Credit card. You can choose a credit card, and I'm taking loan. Then here we have the option. You want to remove that none option, right? Then I can say use the first value as default value. When you say use the first value as default value, then obviously we're going to lose that none, and we're going to get the first option as the default option. So go back to the application, cross check your option once again. So look at this one. We have credit card, loan. So we can make the option as a default, but we are losing the choice. We are making that option as a default. The reason why they have given the option of making some option as a default option is to make the field as required. Yeah, on these custom objects. So let me show you one more time. So let me go to the application type. Now you are able to see the options which are available here. If any option is available here, I can delete it. If I'm able to see the none here, I can delete it. But if you are unable to see the none is created internally by the Salesforce. That is the reason why you are unable to delete it. Okay. So pick list is what? Drop down list, where you can select one option from the list of options. Pick list is a drop down list from which I can select only one option at a time. At max, I can give 1000 options. Length of each option can be 255 characters. Length of all options together can be 15,000 characters. And we can make the first value as a default value. And we can choose the first value as a default value. Then, if you want, you can sort the values alphabetically. Right? Any further queries from anyone? Right, boss. Okay. I hope I'm good with this. Right. Your query is answered, Rajani? Right. So let me choose one more option now. We have one more field called pick list multi-select option. What is that pick list multi-select option? If you want to choose more than one option at a time, we go with pick list multi-select. Pick list multi-select means it is allowing you to choose more than one option. It is also a pick list field, but it is allowing you to choose more than one option. So when I say Hyderabad, Bangalore, here I have Chennai, Pune, now what happened? How many options we give? Total we give 5 options. Maximum how many options we can give? 150 options. So maximum 150 options. Total of 5 options. Maximum we can give 150 options. Now, out of 5 options, how many options you have selected? 3 options. Similarly, out of 150 options, how many options we can select? 100 options. So maximum we can give 150 option. Out of 150 option, you are allowed to select 100 options at a time. What is the length of option what we give? The length of the option is 3 characters. Maximum length of the option is 40 characters. Maximum length of each option can be 40 characters. all the options together, it can be 15,000 characters. Sorry, 1500 characters. When you say pick list multi-select, you are allowed to select more than one option at a time, and maximum we can give 150 option. Out of 150, we can select 100 options at a time. Maximum length of each option is 40 characters. All the options together, it can be 1500 characters. So let me demonstrate one example quickly. Let me demonstrate this example. So go to this. I was creating the field. New. Pick list. Pick list multi-select. Then I'm giving here proof. Let us say technology. I'm giving I gave a couple of options. See. Then go back to this. Click on new. Now we are able to see here. We can choose more than one option at a time. It is a multi-select. We are allowed to choose more than one option at a time. So these are the data types what we have in the Salesforce. When you want to create any fields, these are the data types what we have. I'll quickly remind the data types. We have checkbox, currency, date, date time, date time. We have email, phone, percent. Then we have number, pick list, multi-select, text area, text area long, rich. Right. So these are the data types. So we just seen the overview of what are these data types what we have and how to create the fields. So tomorrow I'll discuss about one application. I'll take an application. We'll design a data model. Sample application will take it. Accordingly, we'll design a data model and decide what are the fields we require to process this application. I'll take some sample application. Then we'll decide what are the objects we require, what are the tabs we required, what are the fields and corresponding data types. Data types and field level permissions. So this I'm going to discuss. So today we have discussed about the data types which are available, different types of data types available, and how to create those fields in the Salesforce. How to create the fields in the Salesforce. So tomorrow we are going to discuss about data model. We'll take one sample application, any one application, maybe a pharma or banking. We'll design one sample application and we'll see what are the tables we require, the fields, corresponding data types, and field level securities that we require. Any further queries from your end? Any queries from your end? Any queries from your end?